I love it. So basically this island that we went to is like, you could kind of call it Instagram Island. It's very centered on like coming away with grams.
Instagram Island sounds like the saddest island.
It's a great place to go, and it was a great holiday.
Okay.
But it does have a component to it that is like quite crazy. It's also incredibly naturally beautiful and has a million other things going for it. But they're very aware that people like coming away from holidays with nice pictures. So they'll have like little installations around the place that will just make a beautiful picture. Like they'll stick two lovely big sort of tree logs in the water and put a hammock between them over the beautiful blue water where you can just pose in a hammock and stuff like that. So it's quite, you know.
Right. They're setting it up. I've seen more and more of these things.
Yeah.
There's a place I just passed today, which is like a scenic spot in London, but they installed a big Christmas lighted up picture frame.
Yes.
Like, here's where you should take the picture. Stand inside the picture frame and then take the picture and post on Instagram how you're having a great trip in London.
At this island they have a thing like that, but it's like out in the sea.
It's weird to see the digital world affecting the real world like this, but it's spreading. Okay.
The absolute piece de resistance for that was I took my drone with me because I wanted to get like drone shots of the island. It was amazing. And you'll see some of these in the video for the podcast.
Oh, great.
So they told me there's the part of the island you're allowed to fly drones. It's obviously getting drone rules now because let's face it, drones are pretty annoying, so they don't want people buzzing the island all day and stuff.
Right.
So they told me the part of the island where I can launch my drone and don't fly here and don't fly there and don't go over there because that's where the seaplanes land. So I went to the spot and I was thinking, oh, where am I going to put my drone like on the ground to take off? Because I don't want to get sand all over it inside it.
Right.
And sure enough, they actually had like a drone launching pad up off the sand where you could put your drone with a little D on it, like a helipad with a D for drone. So they even had a drone launch pad on the island.
I mean, part of me thinks that's adorable. And part of me thinks drones are cool and incredibly annoying at the same time.
They're not annoying when you're the one flying it and it's your drone, but all other times they're incredibly annoying.
I mean, do you feel like a pilot when you're flying your drone? How does it feel right here?
I'm maverick because another thing they have at the island is this giant inflatable pink flamingo that just looks amazing. You've got the blue sky and the greeny blue sea. If you go out and sit in this giant inflatable pink flamingo, it just looks so incredible and it makes such great photos. People want to use it and it's in like a communal area near a bar on one of the beaches. But they've cottoned on to how much people love this. So what they do is they sell them at the gift shop and you can have your own pink flamingo that you take back to your villa. It's like yours for the whole holiday. So like day one, we were like having one of them.
Do you buy it or do you rent it?
You buy it. We sort of thought we might bring it home, but anyway, come to that.
I need to understand the scale of this. Is this a pink
I'm going to send you a
flamingo?
picture. I'm going to send you a picture of me on the flamingo. It's not the best weather, but it'll give you an idea. There you go.
Did this photo make it on Instagram for you?
I think probably a version of it did, but it was like, so the flamingo's about the size of like a small sofa.
I just wasn't sure if this was a beast that was 10 feet tall in the water. But no, it's a unusually large flotation device.
Two people can easily just sit in it and lounge in the water. We could obviously sit just the two of us, like side by side, just lay on it. It's bigger than it looks in that picture even.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, big inflatable pink flamingo. So we're out in the water about like waist deep near our villa having a bit of a photo shoot. And the tide's heading out to sea, but it's not that strong. And there's a bit of a breeze and a wind that starts picking up a bit. And just as we're wrapping up our shoot, a big gust of wind comes, and at the time my wife was holding onto the flamingo and she lost her grip and let out a big scream, which made me think she was being attacked by a shark, but it was just that she'd lost her grip on the flamingo.
Yes, I'm familiar with this kind of scream.
Yes, the over dramatic, it's not that big a deal, but yeah.
Right, but as the husband, it sends you into full red alert mode.
But anyway, such was the wind that it had picked up and the way the tide was going, and I was like sort of the wrong side of her and the tide to like stop it. It started drifting away, and like only an hour before I'd paid like $90 for this flamingo, and we don't want the flamingo getting away and going out to sea.
Right.
So I was tasked with like retrieving it.
Okay.
So I started like wading, and the water was just that depth where you couldn't quite swim properly. So you had to wade, and I was also holding like a GoPro on a stick that I'd been doing a photo shoot with, so I couldn't go into full swimming mode anyway. And the flamingo was just moving at this speed, and just kept it constantly about 2 or 3 meters out of my grasp, just tantalizing. And I was going further and further, and then it pulled further away, so I'd like get down into swimming mode and swim, but then I'd just stop because I can't swim while I'm holding the GoPro. And the GoPro's worth more than the flamingo, so I'm not going to let that go.
Right.
So then I'd try and sort of run or wade again, and I couldn't get the speed up, so I'd try and it was, and the whole time, like, my wife was going, come on, you're so close, you can get it. Which was not encouraging me, but was really playing on my ego, because she was like, my husband would save it, and I'm like, well, I have to be the one to save it now, because she'll become a hero. You can't save it. It's just getting further and further away.
I can see this whole scenario right now. You are basically the Greek hero Tantalus in this situation. It's just constantly slightly out of reach. I see where this is going.
Yeah. And then suddenly, like, I was getting further and further out.
Right.
And also, I was really, like, I was starting to really struggle from, like, my breath, and I was feeling, like, weaker, because I'd done too hard a gym session that morning out in the heat with this, like, trainer guy on the island, so I was already completely knackered. So I was getting more and more tired, and I was getting out deeper and deeper, and I realised, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm chasing, like, an inflatable pink flamingo out to sea with the tide, so when I come back I'm going to have to go against the tide, and the tide's getting stronger and the wind's getting stronger, and I just suddenly thought, I'm going to die. I'm going to be the guy who died chasing a flamingo out to sea, like an Instagram flamingo. It'd be the most embarrassing death in history. And the thing that made it even worse was it had started in front of all the sea villas, because that's what we were doing our photo shoot. So people had been out on their like little balconies watching us do the photo shoot and taking their own photos of us doing the photo shoot, but now watching us lose the flamingo and watching me chase it. So I had like an audience, and I was like, oh, I'm not fast enough, I can't swim fast enough. So maybe I should go a bit further, because if I get it, I'm going to look really good, and if I don't, I'm going to look really stupid. In the end, I just said, I'm letting it go, I'm letting it go. It was like the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade moment, where it was like, Indiana, let it go. It was like, no.
That what it was like.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not going to get this Holy Grail. So anyway, the flamingo like went out to sea, it just kept going and going. It was really funny because it became smaller and smaller. It was this tiny pink dot. And then it suddenly occurred to us, like, oh, let's call the water sports centre who had inflated the flamingo for us. And we phoned them up and said, well, we've lost our flamingo. And they said, oh, where did it go? And we said, it went out east or west. I think I even gave them the wrong directions. But they were like, okay. And like 10 or 15 minutes later, this like speedboat went out, like looking for the flamingo. And we were watching it like for the flamingo out the distance. And then like about 10, 15 minutes after that, this traditional Doni Maldivian traditional boat came chuntering back in from deep sea and stopped and threw the pink flamingo overboard. And the guys on the speedboat like went over to it and got it and brought it back. And like 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the door, and there were the dudes with their flamingo again. It had been saved from like its adventure out into the Indian Ocean.
I mean, I guess that's why it costs $90, because it comes with a rescue fee attached.
I know.
So we've got to factor in the man hours required to go rescue. Because I am sure, Brady, you are not the first man to lose a pink flamingo in the Maldives.
I know. I discussed this with the staff. I said, how often do the pink flamingos like go out to sea? And they said, it does happen occasionally. I mean, talk about this is like Apple Care plus it's like flamingo care. How good is that? You know, you bought your thing and phone up and say, go out to sea in a boat and save my flamingo.
I mean, it wouldn't even occur to me to call them up. I would just assume, like, oh, they would never go out there and get that flamingo. And I'm sure enough people would think the same way that I had when they lose their flamingos, that somewhere out in the ocean, just like there are those big swarming, circling garbage piles of plastic, I'm sure somewhere in the ocean there's a huge flock of Maldivian flamingos orbiting each other at any time.
Cursing Instagram, why would we do something? So anyway, inspired by this, I hope you who don't usually check out Hello Internet on YouTube, because obviously we always put the episodes on YouTube as well as normal podcast places. I'm going to make a special flamingo Maldivian inspired video. Because afterwards I said to my wife, this is going to make Hello Internet, isn't it? So I'm like, alright, I'm going to make a bespoke video. So we've got a special looping bespoke Hello Internet video, drone footage and floating flamingos. So go check it out.
I look forward to seeing that video. I am obviously glad that you made it, Brady. But since we've both had life-risking experiences recently on the podcast. While I wouldn't want you to go, this would be undoubtedly one of the more hilarious ways for you to go. Just forever inches away from a pink flamingo that you follow out into the open sea. I would miss you, but there's a way that that would never not be funny to me. I'd be like, I knew Instagram was bad for you. I knew it.
There was one other thing, like, about this island, that when I first tell you, you might think, oh, that's cool. And then I'll tell you why it's not.
Okay.
So they have this other gimmick on the island. All these islands are quite small. This one's about, it's very, very thin. It's only about 100, 200 meters wide. But it's about a kilometer long. You can walk around it and walk up and down it. Perfect, beautiful tropical island. And they have this thing where they have glass bottles that they put like little messages in with a bit of twine wrapped around it. It all looks very like classy and how you'd imagine. And they hide them around the island. I don't know how many there are, but they hide a number each day. And if you find one and take it to reception, you win something. Like it could be like a free massage or a bottle of champagne or things like that. So it seems like a nice thing, doesn't it? Like, oh, that's a nice little gimmick, something for nothing.
Yeah.
Add a bit of interest to your trip.
That seems fun. Everybody loves a random reward. You get to feel
Yes.
like you're the lucky person who found the thing today. That seems good.
Unless you are a Brady.
Okay.
And my wife's a bit this way too. Suddenly it becomes like,
Oh no. Alright.
not a competition, but like a task that has to be achieved. And whenever you're like having a nice walk down a path, just, you know, on your way to lunch, suddenly you remember there are these bottles, and you start like going on like hyper alert, looking like at the trees and all these possible hiding places. And even when you don't want to be that into it, it just like starts consuming your mind a bit. And in the end, you kind of start resenting it, like you start hating these bottles. Like, I never found one. But it's like, God damn it, these bottles, mate, you never find one. Like, it's like the iceberg spotting competition on the ship in Antarctica. It's like, I have to find a bottle, I have to find a bottle. And it starts like eating away at your brain all through the holiday. Oh, I still haven't found a bottle, maybe I'll find one tomorrow. Oh, I'd forgotten the bottles existed for an hour and it was lovely. Now I remember again. Very unrelaxing.
You are 100% correct when you started the story as, unless you're this to me is one of these, competitive isn't exactly the right word, but this is one of these things where, again, the Brady mind is a bit mysterious to me. There's often the fog of war. And this is one of those pieces where it's come up when we get together in person, perhaps in groups, and games are around, and you have to abstain from the game because you know that if you participate in the game, this aspect of your personality comes out. And these little moments as well, like the bottles for me, it would never cross my mind to treat them this way, but as soon as you start describing, it's like, oh right, this is a thing where this part of the Brady comes out. It comes out like a monster trying to find all the bottles.
But it's like, I don't want the prizes because the prizes aren't even that great.
Yeah, just, no, I understand.
And I don't begrudge other people finding them, and I don't want to beat other people to them. It's just like, I don't know. I deliberately sometimes in my number file videos in the background put unsolved Rubik's cubes to troll people because I know there are people who, when they see an unsolved Rubik's cube, that like just like their brain just can't handle it. But this is what it's like for me, knowing that there could be bottles that I can find that aren't found. It just drives me crazy.
It is one of the great satisfactions of life as a YouTube video creator to put something in a video that you deliberately know will annoy a certain kind of person. It's like, what a great satisfaction that is. So I understand the thing with the review. I of course in my own videos would never do such a thing, but it's tremendously satisfying to do it. Like I find it satisfying in part because I find the reaction on the other side just irrationally baffling. And this is one of the things. It's so hard for me to conceptualize why this thing happens to you. Why do the bottles on the island feel like an unsolved Rubik's Cube or like a checklist with an item unchecked and you feel compelled to solve it? I have none of this within me and it's baffling, but I can just imagine poor Brady flies to the literal other side of the world, as far away as you can possibly get, so that he can be relaxed with nothing to do, and then someone leaves a task which is always open and forever incomplete for him. I'm sorry that they've done this on the whole. Is it all the islands, or is it just this one island? Will you be able to escape it?
It's just this one.
Okay, good.
I do like that they have a drone pad though. Your plane incident,
Yes.
the plane you were on that was coming into land and then you say dramatically pulled out at the last minute, flew back up.
Near vertical, I think were my
Near
exact
vertical,
words.
near vertical. Anyway, you asked the listenership to investigate, and they did.
Mhm.
This incident has been investigated at a level of detail that I think is only comparable to some of the great plane crashes of our time.
Oh, fantastic.
So there's lots of detail around the place. The audio from the cockpit traffic control has been retrieved and listened to. And you were indeed correct, Gray. Your memory under this extreme situation did not fail you. It looks like your plane did come down to 300 meters, it looks like it got to.
Yeah, practically touching the runway.
And then suddenly pulled back up to 900.
9,000 meters, I believe. Is that what you said? 9,000
No,
meters?
900, I'm pretty sure it's 900. So it had gotten down to, let's see, when it got to 300 meters, he was going at 213 miles an hour. And he pulled up and came round and landed later on, a bit slower the second time. So anyway, what was the cause is the big question.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? What was the reason?
Well, I'm not going to eke this out. The thing is, we don't know.
What do you mean we don't know?
We don't know because the pilot, I've got a transcript here now.
Okay,
Basically, they're doing all like, technical talk.
let me understand this.
Yeah.
Tower says, clear to land, runway 11, 2408. And then 2 minutes later, the pilot says, Tower, United 2408 going around. And the tower then tells the flight runway heading maintain 2005. So the tower just tells the pilot to go up to that height, I guess? Is that what that means?
I guess so, yeah. Giving the new instructions what height to be at, and then shortly after gives a new heading.
I mean, okay, so the other than always talking about how the pilots, they have this calm tone of voice when things are
Yeah.
going on. But this transcript, this is too much for me. I don't understand how it's cool to just say, we're not going to do this landing, we're just going to turn around, and the tower's just like, that's cool, come around again later.
Well, Greg, this is probably not the time to be having chats about these sort of things. Stuff has to be done. It's not, oh, what happened? It's like, no, I just wasn't feeling it. Oh, really? Are you okay? Oh, I've been having problems at home. And, I don't know. Haven't been getting on with my wife lately. It's like, no, I'm going round. Okay, here's the new numbers. Don't hit anything.
Okay, I guess you have a point there, Brady. And when you say it that way, it sounds quite reasonable, especially when you're making fun of what reasons might be. But still, I can't believe there's no lingo like Tower United 2408 going around, gust.
Windy, windy.
Yeah, yeah. All right, or like Tower 2408 going around, sad home life, right? Like I'm just not feeling it, right? Like how does it not come up later why they didn't go around? This is baffling to me, and especially for such a dramatic event that I experienced. There must have been a real reason.
Well, I've heard some of the experts say the fact that you didn't say anything indicates it may have just been like wind.
Okay.
When I say wind, I mean the blown. It's not like his own intestinal wind.
Really? Okay, I wasn't quite sure.
So the fact he didn't say anything like, oh, there's a goat on the runway, because if there was like a reason that other pilots should know about, he probably would have said something.
Right.
But the clue does come later when he's coming in the second time and he has this thing backhanded. We'll do 11 now as long as you don't keep our speed up. I think that's on you guys.
Oh, okay, so
I don't know.
that's pilot passive aggressiveness for you're making us land too fast. That's the theory. I mean, I love that Tim's did so much research into this. I'm also looking at a map, and like, am I missing something? Because I see Gray's flight on runway 11. There's another flight coming in on runway 22 or something on runway 11. But there's a marker there for a rogue turkey.
That's humor, I think that's like, that was speculated this was around Thanksgiving, that could have been a turkey on the runway. Right. But this flight 4153 is like the conspiracy theory of the event, because it has been suggested that maybe flight 4153 was like blocking the runway or something like that, and that's why he pulled up. But
Ooh, I like that conspiracy theory.
I do like it.
Yeah.
Conspiracy 4153.
Yeah.
But even the people like doing this conspiracy theory are kind of admitting it's pretty unlikely. But one person here I'm reading, I choose to believe that he's piloting the hero who narrowly avoided a catastrophic collision, flight 4153 on 22 left.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The key defining factor of the conspiracy theories is that they're way more interesting than reality. So I too am a believer in conspiracy 4153 for sure. Yeah. Because this thing about like, oh, there was just a little bit of passive aggressive professional bickering between the pilot and the tower, that's not a satisfying answer. My pilot dramatically avoiding flight 4153 and it being covered up because of how tragic the incident would have been for all the loss of my life. I like that conspiracy theory much better.
I love it as a cover-up now.
Great. No other reasonable explanation. You're on.
Can I just make a suggestion? Planes.
Yeah.
I think when announcements are made on planes that are a certain threshold of importance, they should put some text on the screen saying what the announcement is. Not that there's an announcement in progress, but what the announcement is. Because like most people, I think, I put on my noise cancelling headphones as soon as possible on a plane. So I don't have to listen to all the rubbish about duty-free shopping and all the inane stuff they announce, and also, because I don't like the noise of the plane. But it does occasionally mean I miss like a really important announcement. Like if they say, ladies and gentlemen, the left engine's on fire, brace, brace, brace.
Right.
I think I would hear that because of my noise cancelling headphones. But also, I'll miss like important things that are lower tier, like we're 2 hours late, we've got a connection, this is what's going to happen. I miss lots of announcements because of noise cancelling headphones. And most of those announcements I'm happy to miss. But certain ones I think there should be like a ticker or something on the screen, written things for people who aren't listening to the announcements. They shouldn't be depending on us hearing announcements. Thoughts? My wife was really angry. She's like, one day something really important's going to happen and you're not going to hear it because of those bloody noise cancelling headphones. But I'm not willing to part with them, but I do want the important information. Happens to be on trains too. I was on a train the other day, and I think an announcement must have come over the PA saying at the next station, the back two carriages are going to be disconnected, so get out and go to the front two carriages.
Right.
And I completely missed that announcement because I had my noise cancelling headphones on. And we got to the station, and suddenly everyone got off the train. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And I took my headphones off and I said, what's going on? And someone said, did you hear? We all have to get off and go in the other carriage. This is a problem.
So, I think this over. And you caught me at a bad time because my most recent pilot on my way back to the UK, real Johnny Cash, and had lots of announcements.
He's not like your I'm going around guy.
No.
Man, a few words.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this is a flight that's supposed to be over nighttime, right? Like they're shutting down the lights.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it has been served. They turned off the lights. The pilot comes on, right when just people are probably just beginning to drift off easily. Comes on and says, no, just want to let you know, we're currently estimated to arrive at London Heathrow 5 minutes earlier than our officials' arrival time.
And I like bananas.
Yeah, that would be bad enough, except I immediately had a thought, which anyone who flies into Heathrow would have that exact same thought, but then the pilot also articulated, which was, the traffic tends to really stack up at Heathrow. So even though we're getting in 5 minutes early, we might have to circle around for a while, which could add 15 or 20 minutes additional time to our arrival. But we don't know now. We'll find out when we get there. Just keep me updated. It's like, are you kidding me? The lights are out in the cabin. Just like we have to look at the fasten seatbelt sign, there should be some big sign up front for the pilot. Just hey, lights are out. People are probably sleeping. Nobody cares. Here's the problem with the announcement, right? There's no action that can be taken in any circumstance except for the one you just posited, which is brace, brace, brace.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no matter what they tell you, oh, the flight's going to be 2 hours early. Oh, the flight's going to be 2 hours late. The weather when we land is going to be this, right? That's my personal favorite. If you save all of those things to right before you descend to the runway, it makes just as much difference. No one needs to know these things during the flight. There's nothing that can be done.
Alright, I'm going to be devil's advocate for 10 seconds because I
Okay.
just thought of why maybe this happened.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I'm more on your side here.
Okay.
But I can only think, there are certain people who are obsessed with the weather and are we running late, are we running early?
Obsessed weirdos.
Yeah. Maybe they do that announcement to stop those weirdos harassing the flight attendants the whole flight. Like, instead of 19 people coming up to the galley and saying, "Oh, sorry, I was just wondering, do you know if we're on time? Are we running late? Or what's the weather like in London? Is the captain heard?" Maybe like to stop that happening and the attendants getting harassed, they do these occasional announcements. That's just me speculating.
Yeah, interesting speculation that it could be flight attendants requesting, please save us from all these excessive compulsive weirdos. Because this is going to be the same kind of person who's going to check right before they come home with weather. And they need to know if it's any different. Okay, maybe. But also on this flight, everybody has little screens in front of them where you can pull up the window, stare at what's the time at the destination, what's our exact altitude, what's the barometric pressure outside, you know, what's the phase of the moon overhead, you know, all whatever the stuff is that they put on that screen. So my feeling is any of those planes, especially if they have a screen, you know what I want to hear from the pilot? And I don't even know why the pilot tells me he's here. I'd be like, hi, this is John Ariston flying your flight today. Like, I don't like I care that it lands. Great. I'll thank you at the end for landing the plane. But I don't think you
Oh, but hang on, John Aston, you haven't told me the name of the lead cabin attendant who'll be making my flight comfortable.